History and Headlocks. Class is in session.
I got one question for everybody. Did you miss us? Because I think both of us, I don't want to speak for Ari, but we definitely missed all of you guys. Just for some weird reason, the scheduling of the episodes that we just took maybe a little longer than we did, but I hope everybody had a happy Mother's Day and every other thing that's going on in your lives. But we are back here for History and Headlocks. And what an episode we are in store for today. First of all, Ari, how you doing?
Okay, hanging in there. How you doing?
How you doing with this weather right now?
Well, I'm inside. I got my AC blasting right now, so I'm good with that. I'm gonna just stay in, I think, because I do not feel like dealing with the heat.
Me neither. This is just one of those weird months where it's been cold, then there's some days it's been hot, and it's just I don't know,
Yeah.
just and then now it's just once the weather changes, your body definitely changes
Oh
depending
yeah.
on what day it is. You might feel hot, cold, and then it's like you might get sick, or you don't know what's going to happen. But
Right. You don't know what to wake up to anymore. How to dress.
honestly, yeah. But we are here with History and Headlocks, New York Wrestling Media. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We are almost at the time of this recording to 1,000 subscribers, which thank you everybody that has joined the channel in the past month and a half. But now,
Right.
please keep joining because maybe in the future, like you might see more of us. But that's just a little teaser for something down the line. But History and Headlocks, and also this might be a new series that we're definitely going to start doing with History and Headlocks, specifically like with top fives. So in the first
Okay.
one we're going to do, I think we maybe teased it in the past and might have done it, but we just decided, you know what, for like with superstar retrospectives and all this other stuff that we do, top fives is not a bad idea for us to do. And this first one is going to be a lot of laughs because we're talking about the weird and odd gimmicks in wrestling. So,
Yeah.
how would you describe what we're about to talk about today?
Oh, good. I think the best way is to call them misses. You have your hits and then you have your misses, right?
Right.
These were, in my opinion, the majority of them were major misses. There's one that might be considered a prequel to an amazing gimmick that comes later on.
Right.
But otherwise, it's just, I always say to myself, why? Why? I think I'm going to say that a lot as we go through
Right.
the list.
And with our list, with each of our top fives, it's more specifically we're not calling out the worker that's behind the gimmick. We're just going to be talking about the gimmick themselves that they are portraying on TV. And
Creative.
correct, because I think that's the most
Yeah.
important thing. Where the wrestler can be great and go on to do better things, but the gimmick they get saddled with, maybe at the beginning or in the middle, maybe hurts them like, for a short run, but then they might go on to do better things. Or weirdly enough, if they are one of the best in their crafts and they then get saddled with something we're about to talk about, it's definitely one of those scratching head moments of why and
Mhm.
whose fault do I point at? Who do I point the finger to?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and we're not going to touch all the gimmicks, but maybe towards the end we'll throw out some gimmicks that we did include that we might just throw our opinions on. But
Hmm.
Ari, I'll give you the pleasure of going first. We're gonna go from number five to number one. So,
Okay.
who is your number five weird gimmick in wrestling?
So my number five was Bertha Faye. Um, so for those of you who remember Bertha Faye, she was um, a woman wrestler in WWF during Alundra Blaze or Medusa Maselli's, brief WWF championship run, women's championship run. So I'm assuming she was brought in to be like the polar opposite of Alundra, because Alundra is this tall, statuesque, beautiful, blonde, athletic woman, right? She's like into martial arts. She's a great professional wrestler. And you bring in Bertha Faye, who was this short, chunky, frizzy hair woman who wore very funky prints and colors. And I find it weird only because, I mean, obviously in the 90s, you know, the way women were presented in WWF, especially, it was very like the bigger the boobs, the blonder the woman, the hotter she was, right? And Bertha was not, and none of those. None of those. It was like a mockery of the fact that she was a chunky woman. She was a big girl. And looking back, it's horrible. As a woman, it's horrible. And honestly, I never thought that she was an ugly woman at all. And they try to make her off like this ugly little desperate thing. Right? So I guess for me, it's just weird because it's just looking at how she was portrayed so negatively, physically, aesthetically. Well, she's really, when you look at pictures of her, she's actually adorable.
Yeah, there's nothing physically wrong with her, facially, nothing wrong. But you made a comment when we were talking about these pics that it's kind of like, I don't know, like she, like I don't want to misspeak, represent what you said, but it's like a Willow situation in AEW.
Right. Whereas, but in Willow's case, like, yeah, she's, you know, she's a little extra curvy. She wears her bright color. She's got her big curly hair, but it's presented in such a beautiful package. You know, she's adorable. She's sweet. She's gorgeous. She really is. Willow is a beautiful woman.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's body positivity. You know, she's the babe with the power. Like, it's just complete opposite of how Bertha Faye was portrayed back then. So it makes you wonder, like, if a Bertha Faye was in the wrestling world today, how would she be portrayed? Because, you know, mindsets have changed since then. You know, beauty has become much more inclusive. You know, I mean, I can't speak for you, Mike, because I'm not a man, but I do see that men have become much more open-minded about how a woman looks. Like, yeah, you could think a woman who's fit and whatnot is hot, but I've also seen plenty of men express that a woman of that kind of body type and look is also hot to them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just definitely been, I'll say for like the man point of view, where for the longest time wrestling would portray the women with like slim waists or small butts, but most of the time like big boobs. But most of like when like a woman like Bertha Faye would come along, they would be. It's not from the fans' perspective, but the way they present them to, it's like, oh God, look how big she is, or like, oh my God, she let herself go.
What is she wearing?
Like, that's the commentators who, like, man, one was a cowboy and one was a king, and you just be like, oh my God, like, did they really just say that?
Yeah, it's just for like I guess it's not weird in a campy way to me. Even though she was a campy character, it was just weird in a, what were they thinking?
Right.
And like, how does she feel about having to play this gimmick of like, oh, she's this little fat girl.
I don't want to speak for her. Like, I haven't seen the interviews she's done, but you can imagine she's going into like a corner in a room and just like punching a wall, or just like screaming in her own head, like, okay, this is what they want. I'll give them what they want, but this is not who I truly am.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And you can imagine she was when you think about a true trailblazer for girls like Awesome Kong, Nia Jax, like a lot of those bigger girls that we would see down the line.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Yeah, not a bad pick. I understand it. It's just that when you first presented it and then you explained it, I was like, okay, I see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
But number 5 for me is going to be one of those, and of course I stuck with the theme because I grew up watching WWF, didn't know anything about anything other than that. But looking back and seeing the goddamn Repo Man was one of those weird gimmicks where oddly it's like a weird gimmick but successful.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't know, the Repo Man is one half of the one of the greatest tag teams of all time, Demolition,
Right.
and you wouldn't know that where he lost a lot of weight. He would wear, I think he would wear a face mask, just like like a what do you call it?
The
Like a band,
thieves kind of, yeah.
like he just looked like a fucking thief.
Yeah. Like
And
the Hamburglar or something. I
but,
think sometimes he was even called that, like the Hamburglar.
yeah, that'd be like a joke that people make of
Right.
him. But and he always had that catchphrase too: "What's mine is mine, and what's yours is also mine."
With the
And
laugh.
with the goofy laugh, and like to be that one, there was that one angle on Monday Night Raw that sticks out where he repoed the Macho Man's hat,
Yeah.
and Macho Man had a feud with him over his damn hat.
Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
about that, Macho Man, multiple time world champion, this feuding with this dude over a hat. But I mean, what do you think of this? Of the Repo Man himself,
I'm not gonna lie. I was a kid, right?
right?
This was what, early '90s, so I was, my tween
But I will
years.
ask, you didn't recognize him, like it didn't like click. That's all.
I
This is
didn't.
like
No,
this is
obviously.
Smash,
I mean, it was so hard because Smash always had the face paint.
right?
He had the long hair at the time, and then yeah, he transformed himself. He had the short haircut. He stopped wearing. I think he grew in facial hair. He
Yeah,
wore the little Repo Man costume. But as a kid, I freaking loved it.
yeah.
I did. At first I was like, "What's a Repo Man?" I didn't know what a Repo Man was, so I had to kind of like figure that out. And then I'm like, "But why is he dressed like that?"
It's like the complete opposite. Like for anybody that's listening to this and there's an actual Repo Man, they probably get like a weird look if you
Right.
were to dress like this and go like repossess somebody's car, and just people like I gotta trust that guy, but this was one of those weird things. And
Right.
this is like early '90s too. This is way
Yeah.
before the new generation shit.
Wait. Yeah. I mean, he was so campy. He was like a real life cartoon character, right? And
Right.
you like for me, he felt like an Inspector Gadget character.
Villain.
That and I he would have made a great cartoon character, to be honest with you, when you really think about it, because the whole thief costume, the silly voice, the silly laugh, sneaking around everywhere he went when he would come out in his entrance. It was so silly.
That was the best part of him. That like I think like years later he would say like he's talking about it, but when he was playing the gimmick, he was full Repo Man. Like he would
Oh,
enter the Royal Rumble and like sneak down instead of like run down. He'd be sneaking down.
I thought. I mean, listen, it was a weird gimmick, but he took it and he ran with it. I think he did a fantastic job being that sneaky little creepy greasy little character. He did a great job. I mean, the dude's great. Obviously, like I think in terms of gimmick, the fuck. But in terms of how he, like you said, it's not a criticism of the person playing the character. It's a criticism of how the character that was created. But he did a fantastic job portraying it.
I don't think anybody is safe to admit, or yeah, safe to admit, the Repo Man was a great worker.
Yeah,
It was like
underrated.
yeah, but it's like again like there was a limit to it. Like, are you gonna honest to God give him the Intercontinental title or the World title? Hell no. But maybe if you were to convince me back then, like if he stole the IC title, maybe because that's far beyond the worst ideas I've ever heard. But
Right.
this is the same guy too that have multiple gimmicks too. And in WCW, he had like the Mr. Hole in One gimmick where he'd be like a golfer and he
In
has
the
his
hat.
opponents the whole golf outfit, and
Yeah.
he would have his opponents try and hit a hole in one, and then before they would do it, he would attack them. That's stupid. But this is more
Yeah.
great weird gimmicks
Yeah. Exactly.
for it's Barry Darsow, right?
Yeah, it was very dark. So that. It was silly. It was over the top. It was cheesy, but it worked.
Yeah.
It
Look,
was cute. Like looking back, I'm like it was cute.
can you just turn up your volume quick if you could?
Say what?
Can you increase your volume a little bit,
Uh,
or is that how you?
oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Just
Okay.
wanted to see if you could be a little higher. But
Okay.
on to your number 4.
All right. Yes, Isaac Yankum. I mean, we all know who played Isaac Yankum, Glenn Jacobs. We all know it. We know it. We know
Yeah.
it. And this is the one gimmick that I said is kind of like the prequel to Something Great to Come because it put Glenn Jacobs on everyone's radar,
Hmm.
right? It's a weird. It was a creepy ass gimmick. Like he was this creepy evil dentist that had nasty teeth, and he got pleasure out of drilling holes in people's mouths. It was
Was it?
very horror B horror movie,
Yeah.
right?
Did they ever assume like? Did he ever imply like he would ruin kids' mouths, or was it just like anybody in
Um,
general?
I don't remember specifics like that. I remember him just threatening. He had his drill, but it was like an actual like tool, not like a dental drill. It was an actual like
Right.
construction type drill.
Yeah. I think I don't mean to cut you off, but it's just he was also Jerry Lawler's personal dentist.
Right. He was his personal dentist, which was like, okay, Jerry, that's weird. Like, why would you trust somebody that looks like this?
Yeah,
Like,
but
I'm
he's
sorry,
the
if I go
evil
to a
king.
dentist, yeah, if I go to the dentist and he smiles at me and those are his teeth, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave.
And I just went to the dentist recently to get my wisdom teeth taken
Oh,
out. So this is one of those things where again, like visually when you look at him, like he had the yellow teeth before Snitsky did later on.
right.
Like Isaac walked so Snitsky could run, but that's like one of those stupid things. But yeah, Glenn Jacobs, who at this point had multiple gimmicks at that point, where it's like in Memphis was like he was the Christmas creature, or he was
Christmas
any like
creature.
any Halloween based creature. But the dude can work. A guy
Right.
that's like about 7 feet, three
Yeah,
hundred
big
pounds, and he can
dude.
move.
He could move. He was quick on his feet. Um, Powerful. So
Right.
he had a great package in terms of his skills. But obviously, this weird ass gimmick kind of just overshadowed it because nobody could take him seriously, you know?
Right.
And he's been one where he was thrown some very weird gimmicks until finally, the King gimmick hit and was just a hit with everyone and everything. Like the King character is one of my favorite characters of all time,
Right.
you know? So it took
Also his
him.
theme song too. What was like a fucking drill.
Oh yes, it was just like the sound of a drill throughout the arena. I could only imagine, if you have fears of like, for example, for me, like when I was maybe I don't know 9, 10 years old, I had a really bad experience with a dentist. So imagine being a child having a bad experience with a dentist and then
Right.
seeing this,
This.
this character come out, and I'm like, yeah, see, this is why I don't trust dentists.
Right.
I always said I was telling a friend of mine who actually just had dental surgery recently as well. And I'm like, I just don't understand why anybody would want to be a dentist. Like to me, it feels like such a masochistic kind of like you're just in someone's mouth and you're
Yeah.
putting holes in their teeth or you're pulling them out and you're like, why?
Yes, it has to be certain special people that go. Now, I'm not saying it's like special in a bad way, but I'm just saying people that,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
you have to have a I don't know, I don't know. You couldn't pay me to be in people's mouths
But
all
I'm
day.
saying like a job is a job, and the pay might be good. But it's one thing for Isaac Yankem too that he could like say like what was the highest of highs up for that gimmick, having a fucking SummerSlam match with Bret Hart.
Yeah, like, bro, you lucked out with that one, man.
Yeah, a high profile match, not nonetheless.
Right. And then like to go wrestle someone like Brett who makes everybody look good.
Yeah,
He made yeah. It's just one of those where you're like, okay, But from Isaac Yankum, he became the fake Kane. I mean, the fake Diesel, and then from fake Diesel, he became Kane. So
Funny enough, he
yeah,
was a better
without
Diesel than
this,
Diesel.
he
So,
wasn't a better Diesel than Diesel. Obviously, Diesel
in
is.
some aspects.
I guess in the ring he was better, sure.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the way he carried the character, nah. Only
Right.
Kevin Nash could carry that character the way
Right.
he did.
But yeah,
But without
once he hit with the cane, it was off to the races.
off to the races. So without Isaac Yankum, we never would have had a king.
Yeah. I was joking before with the Snitsky, but pretty much Isaac Yankum can walk, so
Really?
Kane can run.
Yeah, because every time I saw Snitsky, that's all I saw was Isaac Yankum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now my number 4. It's kind of funny with the big guys theme I went with, inadvertently, by the way, but I understood the big boss man gimmick where it's just a guy fighting for justice, but at the beginning it was kind of like misjustice or like abusing the system, and
Right.
not to say anything about today's system and how the world goes, but aside from that, but just the idea that they said that he needs a polar opposite of like a police officer character. So now
Right.
we need a prisoner who is fresh from prison, who now becomes a professional wrestler.
So fresh, he's still in his orange jumpsuit.
Like, if you don't want to stand out and like have people think like, oh, like did he go to prison and the fucker's wearing a full orange jumpsuit?
Exactly.
You would think people who get out of prison would want to get out of anything related to the jail system, but not
Right.
this dude. And can we talk about the voice for a second? Where it's this deep, deep booming voice, like "I'm the boss now, boss man." It's
His
just
voice was so intimidating when he first spoke. I'm like, that's not his. That's got to be a fake voice.
right.
It sounded fake. It sounded like they put a voiceover. It just didn't like how is this real? Like they put a special effect on it. It was crazy.
This is one thing where I saw it was like the old school superstars promos where like they would advertise like matches for the house shows. Him, Kamala, and fucking Razor Ramon. And you just see on Scott's face like, I do not want to be associated with these two fuckers, but they have to cut all promos for a 6-man tag, and you just have Kamal like doing his gimmick, and then you have Nails. I wasn't gonna try to do Kamal because that's gonna be just offensive, but then Nails
was on point.
and then you have Nails do his thing, and the thing too is he had the police stick. And he'd just always be smacking it over and over, and just him talking.
Right.
And you see Scott's face is like, "Let me do my line. Let's get the fuck out of here."
Can we finish this, please? Yeah.
I think too, like we said, like we're not going to criticize their ring work, but I don't know if they gave him the Iggy to just do chokes because that's all his matches were.
I mean, that's probably all he could do. I mean, obviously he was hired for his size, not his talent.
I just look at them like I think I know why you went to prison for, because I think you just strangle people to death.
Right, exactly.
Like nerve holds, plain choking. That's all his matches were.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they would have went further into his story as to why he was in prison and what caused the big boss man to abuse the hell out of him, supposedly.
You just hit it. you just hit the nail on the head. That he claimed that the big boss man abused him in the prison,
Right, beat the hell out of him, broke his bones with the nightstick or some shit.
Which kind of explains Big Boss Man in a way when like he was in the Attitude Era and he's like laughing about the Big Show's dead daddy or like cooking Alsto's dog. It's like maybe this guy's actually evil, and Nails had a point.
Right. Yeah, because let's remember the Big Boss Man in the 80s was a heel, right?
Right.
He was part of the Twin Towers with Akeem, and Slick was their manager.
Yeah.
Right.
looking back on that team name, that's like oof. But
I know. Well, no, they didn't know. But then he became a face after he shed some weight, and then he became a face, and everybody. I love the Big Boss Man.
Yes.
I don't know. I loved him.
Very,
I thought he
very
was
underrated.
very underrated. Another guy that was a big dude and could move. He was light on his feet as well, and that's something I noticed back then. Even as a child, I'm like, this guy could move. And
When he definitely
then
slimmed down, he was moving. But I mean, he was he was big too. Like he was
yeah,
like
he
really
was
the big boss man. But once he
big
lost a
boy.
lot of weight,
Yeah.
he's doing inside fucking crescent kicks. Like this dude was like
Yeah.
nuts. But
Very.
again, it's
It
like
was very reminiscent to like Bam Bam Bigelow.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But it's just in that creative meeting. It's like, do you really need to put a opposite character to him? And also, there's also that limit too of how far you're gonna go as Nails.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I appreciate that they came up with that kind of a nemesis for him. Like he's a
Yeah,
cop, so who would be his enemy? A criminal,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But so it makes sense on paper, and it wasn't badly executed. But maybe if they would have found a different person to portray Nails, and why Nails? What was up with the name Nails? Why is
Nails
there a
with a
Z
Z.
at the end?
Yeah,
With a
it's
Z,
always.
Nails. I see
Oh
that. I think
God.
of nails, like I don't know.
Could you imagine if there was a female version of that and just be like with nails and just scratching people's eyes out?
I mean, yeah, instead of
Yeah, because
choking them out.
nails. Yeah, because nails would do boss man. Then what? So you got to feed with the Undertaker next? Like why?
Right. Uh,
It had a shelf life of just like
it did.
there was no reason for this to exist.
But
Going past the boss man.
didn't he set the shelf? Isn't he the one that choked out Vince McMahon backstage and got fired?
Yes, the famous story of him going backstage after SummerSlam. This is when they were in Wembley, and him choking Vince McMahon almost to death because of pay.
Yeah. So
And
he
then
set his own shelf life with that one. I mean,
pretty much, yeah. And then he accused of Vince like sexually assaulting him.
yeah.
Yes, which too is also like, and nowadays we know what Vince currently is, but it's also like, you must be one messed up motherfucker to try and sexually assault this dude. Like seriously.
I know. But it's also like
And sexual assault's not funny, but just
it's
like
not fun. But it's
just
just
the
weird.
claim of like a 6'9" dude who towers over
Yeah.
everybody. He's like, he tried to sexually assault me.
Scary looking ass dude. Like,
Yeah.
listen, like again, like you said, it's not a funny topic. But if what we know of Vince, if he were to actually
You
do
wouldn't
that
put it past him.
to a man, I would have expected him to do that to more of a muscular, pretty boy kind of man, and not this big, bulky, scary, creepy, monstrous looking guy.
Yeah,
Oh
I don't know.
God.
Maybe your number 3 pick.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because I'm trying to think of like how are we going to transition. Like, let's just go straight to your number 3.
Oh God, Bastion Booger. What the hell were they thinking? What were they thinking?
So this one reading into was a punishment
Right.
because he was previous on TV as fucking Friar Ferguson, the
Right.
evil monk.
He was an evil monk. Oh, and they had the whole total package, the hair, the outfit. But then Bastion Book, like what the hell? What it like?
Do you want to describe his outfit for the people?
so his so first of all, he was. Let's describe him. His physical, like he was.
Yeah,
I don't know how tall he was. He looked shorter or average height.
6
But he
feet
was very
average.
very round, right?
Hmm.
Very round, and then he had like small legs. He kind of okay, and this is funny that I'm
Yeah,
gonna compare this to him because it's kind of like the same thing, but he looked like the mucus guy from the Mucinex commercials, right? A
yeah.
booger.
He physically looked like a fucking big booger.
Yeah. Not for nothing, Bastion Booger would have been a great name for the Mucinex booger mucus thing. It would have fit perfect. But like that,
Yeah.
he was built very round, bald.
After they shaved
Then
his head from the Friar
after they
Ferguson
shaved it,
thing.
they took the rest of the horseshoe hair off him, and he wore like trunks, like speedo style trunks that went over the belly. But then he had like this weird like X-shaped suspenders.
Did bondage type stuff.
kind of, yeah. And it was like a weird gray, nasty tie dye. I don't even know how to describe it. It was just
I was gonna
bland
say
and
flesh
brown.
colored, but no, it was like more silvery,
Yeah,
not appealing silver.
not appealing. It just everything about him was just, ugh. And then he would come out and just make these weird little like faces, very creeper style faces, and I think he even had a little dance. Did he have a little dance too? That he would like rock back and forth and wiggle his belly,
Like a fat
kind of
man shuffle.
a fat man shuffle, kind of like Otis, but Otis is in better shape. But
Otis is
Otis has
cuter.
that little, yeah. Otis is like a teddy bear. This guy was like, maybe if the gimmick was different, he would have been considered a teddy bear too. But this
Right.
was just, why Bastion Book? Why the name?
You're also missing a thing where he was missing a couple teeth.
Yeah, he was missing some teeth,
Yeah, and he would come out to the ring eating whatever the hell he was eating. He'd go to the ring eating bananas or turkeys,
shoving it in his mouth.
and he'd wrestle these matches all greased up in whatever food he just shoved in his mouth. And then his
Right.
finisher was him pretty much teabagging everybody.
Yes.
He pretty much put his dick in people's faces.
Yes. Oh my God.
Where before
It
you'd say
was-
he do a little dance and then go
Yeah.
and then sit down.
Just plop on them. It was just, what the hell are we? I mean, like you said, it was a punishment type thing, but
And the punishment, mind you, was the stupid thing because they found him allegedly sleeping backstage, and
right.
I think like Sean stooged him off, like this dude's sleeping backstage, and apparently Vince was pissed. I was like, you know what, this is you now.
Like, cut the guy a break, man. They wrestle, they travel like every damn day on the road. They barely see their families. Cut the guy a break if he needed to close his eyes for a few minutes. How the hell punish him and make him a giant booger?
Like a giant glutton too, because he just wouldn't stop
Ooh.
eating.
It was just so weird and gross, and there was no story to it. There was just it was just, okay, this guy just shows up one day and he's just this big nasty dude. Like, what was his story? Why did he become like this? You know,
I also
like,
looking for his gear. It looked like he wrapped himself in aluminum foil.
yeah, it was just so odd. Like, you would think with a name like Bastion Booger, why isn't he dressed in a green outfit? Ugh. I
That's
know
not
that would've been-
appealing. That's not appealing color
Nothing.
either. But I guess just if
Nothing,
you,
but it'll fit the gimmick of the name. Just thinking about it, just like, that poor man.
mind you, this was the same dude that was in WCW years prior, known as Norman the Lunatic.
Yes.
Same
Man,
dude.
like, some of these wrestlers, man, they're just destined to be stuck with these ridiculous gimmicks that have no thought process.
And this is this is what the journey of a journeyman would be. Like, you just go company to company and just get saddled with different stuff. And Friday Ferguson, fucking Bastion Booger, and then just like, and people could be like there was no ceiling for him. Of course there wasn't. What the hell are you going to do with him? He's a chopper. But it was
World
just one of
champion
those
Bastion Booger.
shit. Don't think if Vince was desperate enough and he thought it would be funny
He would've.
enough.
Yeah. And also, like, when you think about it, like, how do you pitch this idea, right? When you're backstage and creative, right? Like, you know, we watch Unreal, right? We watch them backstage in their little conference room talking about,
So,
right? Like,
Otis, I want you to go down to the ring and eat the food, and spill it on your opponent. But also, after you do that caterpillar, put your nuts in the, in the face. And I'm not talking about the food, not your balls.
testicles. Oh my Lord. I just don't get it. I can't even imagine being one of the other team members or the creative team members sitting there listening to this and just like, is this fucking guy serious? In your head, right? But
Yeah.
you have to be a yes man about it. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Mr.
sir. Yes,
Man.
sir.
That sounds
Yeah.
That's brilliant. A human booger.
But it's also too, it's like you definitely know that this guy was probably like the nicest dude in the world. And he was like, fuck it, I'll do it. I don't care.
I'm
been
getting
at that point, like, I
paid.
don't care. I'm getting a check, whatever.
And I'm on TV. He was on TV. Listen, the dude was on TV pretty frequently.
It was on pay-per-views.
Yeah,
I
so
think
he
like a
wasn't that much
few,
of a
but it was like
punishment.
you get a pay-per-view. That's the weird thing too. It's like when you read punishments and you're still being used on TV. Goddamn, I'll do it. I'll fucking murder somebody and still be on goddamn TV. It's legit.
Oh
Some
my
people murdered people and they still be on TV. Damn it.
Yeah.
Do we need to really open that can of worms, people?
Uh-huh.
Top 5 murderers on TV.
In wrestling.
Yeah, there'd be a fucking lot of them. Sadly,
Unfortunately.
spoilers for for future stuff. But yeah, that's your number 3. Meanwhile, mine is like in similar vein, I guess, but it's just like the idea of garbage man by day and garbage man by night.
Yeah.
And it's
Garbage man by day, garbage man by night. Fighting garbage man by night.
Oh no, garbage man by day, wrestler at night. My apologies.
Yes. Wrestling garbage man.
And
he still was a garbage man.
Yeah, and I'm nothing against people that work in sanitation. I know a few
Listen,
people that have worked.
That's a tough job.
Tough, but it fucking pays a lot too. But it's just in the world of wrestling, it's just to be like, ha ha, he's walking around with a garbage can. But it's also like when you look at this name, Duke the Dumpster Josie, you're just saying like, oh, you're shit,
right?
You're garbage.
It's such a weird. It was a very weird choice. And you know what's crazy is the dude was, in my opinion, a really good-looking guy.
Right.
You know, he was tall.
Normal.
He was great looking. You know, good, handsome face. He actually had a pretty good personality. You know, he was always very happy-go-lucky.
Basically, he looked good.
He was in great shape, walking around. You know, he had his sanitation jumpsuit on, I guess, right? Walking around with his garbage can, like, hey, look at me. Like, he was proud to be a sanitation worker.
Right. It's just like, you might be in the wrong promotion, because if you were in ECW, that trash can would be used to hit people in the head every match.
That would have been, he would have been a heel.
No, in ECW, he may have been more of a basic. Just to see how.
I mean, it kind of ECW didn't know who the hell was who anyway.
I mean, ECW also had their standards too, which is weirdly enough. But
right.
Odd tidbit about Duke the Dumpster Josie is that he had a feud with Mr. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, which, holy shit. The future world champion that we know that some people love, some people hate, but when you... This is kind of one of those things for people that hate Triple H to be like, haha, you got to work with this idiot. But it's like, this guy's not this dude got saddled with this stuff, with this stupid thing.
Because of who Hunter Hearst Helmsley was back then, right? He wasn't the
rich snob. Yeah,
he was the rich, snooty Connecticut snob. Couldn't even think about getting dirty. And here he is wrestling a garbage guy who has no problems getting dirty. Yeah,
exactly.
You know, so it was again the polar opposite gimmick facing each other.
Weirdly enough, yeah, but there's also like you would have like the Godwins or like
oh god, the Godwins.
I forget the middle name, but then this would be like what Hog and Pig.
Yeah, they were the pig farmers, the hog farmers.
But then for Duke Josie, it's like one of those things where small career, but in the long run stood out.
Yeah, I mean the name Duke Josie though, without the dumpster in the middle, is a pretty good wrestling name.
Yeah,
it would be good. It would be a good name for like a cowboy gimmick. You know, Duke Josie, the cowboy, or like kind of like the hangman.
It's the dumpster thing.
The dumpster, yeah. But it's like what else could you use to reference the fact that he was a garbage man, right?
Nothing. Why does he have to be a garbage man?
Well, yeah, of course, but he got stuck with that type of story. So, like, what else would he have a nickname like that?
And the sad thing is, there was definitely a line of workers for like a job, and they're like, they just pointed at him and said, "Garbage man."
Yep.
And he was like, "Oh, all right, fuck it."
But I kind of can't help but wonder how many indie guys actually work in sanitation as their day job. Because I mean, when you look at sanitation workers, these guys have to be in really good shape.
A lot,
They're
yeah.
lifting, lugging bags of garbage all day, tossing them into the truck. These dudes get, they're on their feet, so they get into shape. But it's like, I wonder how many of them are,
I know a lot. I know a lot of them.
right?
I'll say right now, my uncle was a sanitation worker, and
Yeah.
he retired, and he is fucking happy. He's rolling in it, and it's also like not just the garbage stuff too, but like when it snows, they're always on the streets,
Oh yeah.
making sure that streets are
Listen,
cleared. But
I respect I respect that job, because that's not an easy job to do, to have to lug with people's nasty garbage all day. You know what I mean?
it's a demanding job.
Yeah.
But
So
just-
I don't know, maybe a garbage man by day, wrestler by night isn't too far fetched.
I guess, but it's just the time that this dude popped up, and just with that, it's one of those weird ones. And I'm gonna give you the perfect segue for your number two, where this dude was an established wrestler with a very popular gimmick in one promotion, then goes to another promotion and becomes whatever the hell they did to him.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know who the Zodiac is, it was Brutus the Barber Beefcake, who everyone has to know. I mean, if you don't know who he is, then you must be very young.
You live under a rock.
Or live under a rock. So, the barber gimmick, I remember him saying he didn't really want to do it. He thought it was weird, but he went with it. And it worked. It was fun because he would cut people's hair with not even scissors, but with like gardening shears. Right, hedge cutters, right. And he had he was a good-looking dude. He had just great style to him, and he had the barbershop interview segment, right? He was great. And then eventually he left WWE for whatever reasons. He goes to WCW, and he gets instead of being repackaged into something similar, they didn't have to have the same name or whatever, but I know that they didn't want to have lawsuits. But why? Okay, so I don't even know where to start with this.
Well, I mean, I'll give you a hint here, where he was, I think, a detriment, but also maybe a benefit to his career. But he was a big Hulkamaniac. He was friends with Hulk Hogan.
Right, he's good, very close friends with Hulk Hogan, practically like family.
Right. Where to the point where when he started, he was like in kayfabe, like his brother.
His brother, right? He had bleach blonde hair too.
So it'd be Hulk Hogan and Dizzy Hogan. That'd be fucking him.
Right. And then, he comes here, and it's like, first, okay. When I hear the word Zodiac, I think of two things. Horoscopes, right? Like Capricorn, Gemini, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think of the Zodiac Killer, the serial killer from the 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think,
complete opposite of what they do.
Right. With a gimmick called the Zodiac, it would either be based off one of those two topics. But dude is dressed in zebra print, black and white zebra print. His face is painted like a zebra print. His hair is done all weird, like little pigtails here and there or whatever.
Just a little mohawk, yeah.
Right. And then he has gloves on, and then he's making these really weird bug-eyed faces.
Yes.
What the fuck?
You also where people would ask, like, would he ever speak?
And then he do that weird, like, hand gesture, right?
Like he'd do like a he'd do this back and forth. But when he would speak, he'd be saying yes and then no and then yes, no, like back and forth. So like if you ask him a question, it'd be like yes, no, like with the goofy faces.
With this? What the hell does this have to do with Zodiac? Call him the zebra.
But it's also like before that, like he goes to WCW and his brother Brudai to avoid the Brutus Barber Beefcake thing. Then he turns heel and becomes the Butcher.
Which, you know what?
That's not bad name either.
I didn't mind it. Right. Instead of being the barber, he was the butcher.
Then get a little of this. He bumps his head and loses his memory, and then he becomes the man with no name.
The man with no name.
And then he gets recruited into the Dungeon of Doom, and then he's renamed the fucking Zodiac.
Yeah. And it's like,
Just another villain for Hogan to punch in a match.
In my logical head, because I actually have logic on like the creative team in WCW back then. If you're gonna have a Dungeon of Doom gimmick, okay, fine, whatever. Bunch of weirdos, creepy, dark, culty, paranormal kind of thing going on, right?
Right.
And you're gonna have somebody in that group called the Zodiac. Why wouldn't you have him be like dressed in that kind of like a psychic kind of magic mage kind of warlock style? Like his clothes could have like the symbols of the Zodiac on it, and he could act like he can read people's minds, or carry some tarot cards with him.
Weirdly enough, if he were to come out and say like, "Oh, like you're a Capricorn, you're gonna get it badly," or like you're a Taurus, like, "Oh, you're safe for now, but
I'm gonna grab you by your horns and
or like you mentioned the other idea of like if he would have leaned more towards the Zodiac killer type of stuff, but not go full killer, but
that would have been even better.
Yeah, but
mysterious, dark. You don't know what the hell he's up to. You don't even know. Like they could have put him in a mask, a full-on mask, since the Zodiac killer would be portrayed as somebody with a mask.
Yeah.
But
he's had a history of wearing masks too. Like he had the Hulkamania mask when like he had that boating accident where the ski boat hit him in the face on the beach.
Right, and he had the reconstructive surgery. Right.
And then there was a little period in WWF where he was like fucking fur face, like a Native American. Like he had that little stint, but this was just one of those weird gimmicks. Like he's a Zodiac, and then it's like, oh, like then he becomes the Booty Man.
The Booty Man. But I prefer the Booty Man over the Zodiac. I don't know.
Yeah, well, because you also have to deal with like who this is. This is Ed Leslie,
right?
He's a goofy,
big
athletic fool.
Yeah, he had a great look. Another one that just had a really great look for the time. He was handsome. He was in great shape. I mean, that's why he was called Beefcake. He was a beefcake. He was.
It kind of sucks though when you look at his career where he's only a tag champion. He could have been Intercontinental champion.
I think so.
You could have like at least a few months with him holding the title.
Yeah, I mean, he was talented in the ring enough. And
there was a limit though. There's always a limit with him.
Yeah, that was the limit. It's a character that none of his characters, even Brutus the Barber Beefcake, couldn't be taken as a serious contender.
Yeah, to a certain level.
But this one, why? Like when you look at it, like why is he dressed like a zebra? That's I get stuck. Why is he dressed like a zebra?
It's just when you look at him too in the mold of the Dungeon of Doom, and meanwhile there's fucking John Tenta who's a shark. And
poor John Tenta. God, may he rest in peace. What a nice man that man was.
Absolutely, but it was just like meanwhile it's like I'm not bothered by the shark. I'm bothered by you. Like what are you?
Yeah, like what the hell? I mean, there's another one that we'll touch base, but what the hell are you? Like, why are you? Why?
If you would have told me that he was just coked out of his mind and he just came to work that day, I would have bought it. He's on drugs. He calls himself the Zodiac. Go out there, have a match.
Yeah. Like what the who? Like no, the one that was coked up was the person who came up with this damn gimmick.
That would be Kevin Sullivan, unfortunately. But
there you go.
But you have to also remember too. That's when Hogan was trying to be on top. And what's the thing that always got over? Hogan beating goofballs.
Right. Exactly.
And he was just goofball number 3.
Another one that wanted to be a giant cartoon.
Right.
Yeah.
But speaking of goofballs, number 2 for me. Just to think that this was going to be Chris Jericho.
Can
In
you
an
imagine?
alternate universe, Chris Jericho could have been the goddamn goon.
Well, he loves his hockey.
Right, but it's just hockey and wrestling. For people that are fans of hockey, it's definitely entertaining when you see the players beat the shit out of each other and
Shit
just
out of each other.
like grab each other by the jersey and just throw punches until you knock somebody's
Swinging
out.
on him. Yeah. Hell yeah.
But just the big stupid platform boots where the blades are not on them,
Blades. Right.
and just him it was just not even like we joke about the outfits, but him in full hockey gear
Yeah.
is one thing too.
Even the freaking padding.
It's
You know,
just, and also
this
when
gimmick,
we talk about the names too, like the Goon.
yeah. See, the gimmick would have worked in the 80s
Oh come
because
on!
there was a
Really?
movie that because there was a movie that came out about a hockey player and it was a goon. Yeah, let me look it up. But there was a movie.
When I look at this, it's like it's on the same length as Abe Knuckleball Schwartz, where
Yeah.
it's just like a sports player by day, wrestler at night.
Right. Hockey movie. I'm just gonna
But
look
with
it up.
Knuckleball Schwartz, wasn't there like a baseball strike going on that year? So WWE was like, "Oh, let's make fun of that."
Yeah.
Some brawler dressed up as a baseball player. What the hell's the Goon's excuse?
Exactly. Let's see. No, that's not the one. I think it was from the 70s. I think it was a Paul Newman movie called Slapshot. Where, see, the film is widely celebrated for its gritty, foul-mouthed realism and has become a cult classic among hockey. So, like, when you look at the characters in the movie and you look at the Goon, that's basically who they bit off of the movie itself, Slapshot. Just big, bulky, burly dude,
Right.
And hockey players were known as goons. They actually was a nickname for a lot of them. They were goons. But like I said, that movie, that gimmick would have been great in the 80s, closer to when the movie came out, because the movie came out in like the late 70s or early 80s. It would have made more sense back then to kind of run with that because it was a big hit. But in the 90s, where I don't know, like I feel like hockey players then were becoming more mainstream with the New York Rangers and and Gretzky, you know what I mean? Like at that point, hockey wasn't seen as like that kind of barbaric sport.
I think just also the name for me. It's like
the Goon.
Because I mean, we joke about like Duke Josie like being the dumpster. It's like this guy doesn't have a first or last name. He's just a damn goon.
Yeah.
First name the, last name Goon.
Goon. Yep. The Goon. The Goon. And yeah.
just one of those weird things that's in the world of wrestling.
It's funny. There was a movie called Goon about a hockey player, but it came out in the 2000s.
Of course.
With Sean, what's his name? Stifler, wasn't it?
Oh, Sean William Scott.
Sean William Scott. Yes.
See that makes sense.
And they portrayed those hockey players like that, barbaric, just beating the shit out of each other, no teeth, blood coming out of everywhere, out of their faces.
Right. But that's pretty much our number two picks. But before we go to number ones, let's honorable mentions for the other weird gimmicks that we didn't acknowledge. I mean, Eugene.
Oh, Eugene.
I mean, it's always on the list of controversial.
It is. Gimmicks. I mean, you're literally got it's. Is he supposed to be autistic? What's going on here?
Yeah, and
I always felt bad for him.
Nick Dinsmore, where people call him like, well, he's one of the more underrated wrestlers. Like he was the top guy in OVW, and then when he finally gets the call up to the main roster, they give him, oh, you're Eric Bischoff's nephew, and you're special. Now, I appreciate the fact that he at least took inspiration from a family member.
Yeah.
But it didn't help that, again, not his fault, but it's the company's problem of the situations they put him in,
Right.
where like he'd be like with the divas, making all like, "Oh, look at the boobies,"
Right.
or like they would
Right.
tease him nonstop,
Bully him.
and he wouldn't know that they're bullying him, and then
Yeah, making fun of
just
him. It was so sad. Because there's people who do live like this. And imagine you put on wrestling, you're a wrestling fan and you're on a spectrum of some sort and you watch this and you're like, this is what they think of people like me?
exactly,
Ooh.
exactly,
They don't think. They didn't think. It was
and
just so
also too, they dedicated a whole episode of Raw to him. He was the Raw GM.
exactly.
They opened the show with a lot of like they had Ric Flair, Chris Jericho, Jerry Lawler, Stacey Keebler, like a lot of these other guys on the roster
Right.
do musical chairs.
Yes.
And oddly enough, one of the more higher rated segments of Raw that year.
Right.
Like, but then it's also like, didn't you see crazy visuals like him and Triple H bouncing, like jumping in a bounce house?
Bouncing around. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, it's like there's nothing wrong with doing a character like this, but the situations they put him in was
Yeah.
where people drew the line. Because you just
Listen,
like you want to be like, happy for Eugene, he's a tag champion, right? But then it's like, then like the big monster comes around and has to beat up the special person.
right. Nobody wants to see that happen to someone.
Nobody
I'd
wants to
rather
see
see the
him
special
bleeding
person
and
be the monster and
crying.
beat the hell out of somebody. Yeah, I know.
Like you're seeing him like bleed and he's like crying too.
Yeah, it just made him so. It was so horrible. Like my heart would break for the character. I knew it wasn't the guy. I knew he wasn't like that. But it just the character. Maybe that was their intention to pull out your heartstrings with this character. But like, it was painful to watch.
Yeah. I mean, another character too that had I don't know how to phrase this, but had an idea for a TV show, but then was moved over to the WWE, and it's the Boogeyman, and he's coming to get you.
The Boogeyman, yeah.
Who, credit to him, is making a fuck ton of money to this day.
To this day, he has not. I mean, he turned it into a successful, magical
Career.
career. Yeah, the earthworms, eating the earthworms was something. I hope that oh.
You think I get like tetanus shots after the show?
Like you would think, like, are these fake? Are they like gummy worms? Please tell me they were gummy worms that just made them look really realistic.
No, it was all real worms. But not for, weirdly enough, WWE is such a market whore that you didn't think like, oh, like they're gonna sell gummy worms to the kids, so you can eat worms like the Boogeyman.
Like they could have collaborated with Haribo or something.
Something. But again, it was like one of those weird things of, well, first off, background of the guy that plays the Boogeyman, who tried out for Tough Enough, the $1 Million Tough Enough, and lied about his age at the tryout.
Right.
Because he said he was 30, but he was actually like 40 something.
Right.
So he was like way older, but physically, my God.
Monster.
Like I think he was like a personal trainer too, so it kind of made sense. But it was just the fact that he's on the show lying over and over.
Yeah.
About his age, and then they go, "Oh, you're cut," but then they go, "We'll give you an OVW contract," and then they send them over to OVW, and then it's just, and now you're the Boogeyman with his whole head is painted red with like black dots on it. He eventually he would lose his like front teeth. I don't know how or why.
Right.
But he would also have worms in his pocket, grab a bunch of them, and then eat them. He would have a clock. It just didn't stop. He had a clock that he would bang over his head. He had a big staff that smoke would come out of it. And and we mentioned we're not going to critique wrestlers in ring ability, but he was not.
He wasn't the best. Right?
He was green.
Yeah, he was. But he has made this character itself into, like you said, into good money for him. Everywhere he goes, he's dressed like the Boogeyman.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent to Papa Shango, you know? And what's
Another one
cool
of
is
those
that
interesting characters.
he was also the Godfather. Like two of these, those are the two prolific characters he played, and he'll go to conventions, and sometimes he's Papa Shango, sometimes he's the Godfather.
Yeah.
He's banking off those two gimmicks to this day.
Interesting thing about Papa Shango was that when the nation was splitting up, that I didn't know this until he revealed it on Stone Cold's podcast, that they were pitching to do, like, have him return to Papa Shango in '98.
Interesting.
Where, like, he had, like, a more darker look. Like, he had he had pictures, or like, he had screenshots done, or not screenshots, but like he had photos done. Like, he had a whole new gear made, and then they're like, okay, we'll just call you the Godfather now, and then it's like pretty much just
right.
Well, it was him, but
right.
We could have had a world where Papa Shango came back in the Attitude Era, a more darker, evil version of what it was before. Because I mean, Papa Shango, when he first showed up, it's the botch of WrestleMania running in the main event, and then he's feuding with the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
And then the Undertaker. It was just also, you gotta give like the man behind it all the credit in the world, because he read all the books, he was committed to it, and it was definitely it could have been something.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the level of the Undertaker, but something.
Yeah, because Papa Shango is based off a deity, an actual deity. The Afro-Caribbean spirituality. So yeah, if they would have brought him back as a more darker, more sinister, well, I mean, Papa Shango isn't considered a sinister deity, but a more powerful. Yeah, that would have been really cool. Like, I always liked it myself. Like, I always loved the look of it, the skull. That's just how, if you look up the deity, that's how he's portrayed, with the skull face, the hat, the top hat, the I believe he has a cigar all the time. So that would have been cool. But they went with the Godfather, and let's face it,
way better.
I mean, these gimmicks are weird, without a doubt. Papa Shango was considered a weird gimmick, and the Godfather being a pimp, that's a weird gimmick altogether. But he made it work. He made it work. It was in that perfect era, the Attitude Era, where everything was over the top, controversial, pushing the limit. It was perfect. It was a perfect time for it. And he's also such a great guy.
Yeah, absolutely. You would think like somebody that looks that scary, as Papa Shango, it's like, oh, he's so nice. He's just so down to earth too.
Such a sweetheart.
But I mean, the Mountie, another one of those early '90s characters where, and this is one of those weird things where you can say he was an Intercontinental Champion. A gimmick like that is holding the workhorse title.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Jacques Rougeau transformed into the Mountie. The song was the greatest thing ever.
Oh my god! Yeah, I mean, it was based off the Dudley Do-Right cartoon character, the Canadian Mountie. And for those of you who don't know what Dudley Do-Right is, that was a cartoon from like the '60s, I believe. It was one of those like Hanna-Barbera, kind of like the Flintstones or whatnot. And it was about a Mountie, a Canadian Mountie named Dudley Do-Right, riding his horse, and that's exactly who the Mountie basically was. And because Jacques Rougeau was Canadian, French Canadian, they went with that because and then there was the infringement issue, and they had to call themselves. They started teaming up with
PCO,
the current PCO, which I still can't believe he's still out there doing his thing. They became the Quebecers, but they still dress like Mounties.
I was gonna say two things where, like, when he started doing the Mountie, apparently when they would go to Canada, he wouldn't call him the Mountie, so and he wouldn't be a heel; he'd be a baby face.
Right. They're like, hey, the Mountie, yeah, they loved it.
Yeah, but then when he came back in PCO was his tag team, they changed the theme song too, where it's like, "We're not the Mounties.
We're not the Mounties." And they sang it, and they sang it, and they could not sing a lick.
But that was
And then,
the beauty of it.
right, and then they had the accents. They had their French Canadian accents, so they were no Celine Dion's here. Okay, guys,
Right.
it was
Everybody,
so
everybody give
campy.
him appreciation because he trained Kevin Owens. Remember that.
That's right. I mean,
But
the dude could work in the ring. Him and his brother, Raymond.
I mean, we're talking about all these WWE gimmicks. The WCW ones, they didn't really fare either. I mean, Glacier.
Glacier, such a Sub-Zero ripoff Mortal Kombat. But look at
Exactly.
him. He works for
All
AEW.
that money they spent on his entrance, the gear.
Damn it, the music.
The thing for me was that was the kicker was that he was he's a Southern boy. So like when he would talk, he'd be like, "Oh, I know the martial arts, or like, I learned from my sensei, which means teacher." It's like, jeez,
Right. Like you would think he would have spoken in a more like refined, not to say that Southern accents aren't refined. Southerners, sorry. But
the way Nails talk should have been Glacier.
or maybe something like very commanding, very imposing.
Hell will freeze over. It's just like,
Right,
hell will
exactly.
freeze over, sir. It's like, no. There's like the Mortis too, which kind of was like a Kane ripoff.
Oh yes. Yes. Yes.
I mean, I looked on the list too. It's like Disco Inferno technically is one of those weird gimmicks that worked.
Freaking Disco Inferno. That's another one that's just what the hell were they thinking? And it was somehow popular in a way. Even though people can't stand the guy now, but he was on TV
That's an
all the
opinion
time.
aside. He was a character in a gimmick that just stood out. In the weird world of
He had his
WCW.
disco outfit. He danced. He did the whole John Travolta Saturday Night Fever gimmick, and because Saturday Night Fever is such a cult classic as well, they ran with that. Who else?
Seven.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yes. Yeah, Dustin Rhodes is a child predator.
He just looked so weird.
That's where Jay pretty much bleeps me, but yeah, just so weird.
The white paint, and I mean, shit, even Goldust was out there as a character, obviously, but he made it work.
Right.
He made it into such a psychological character. And I think he was trying to do that with the Seven character, but it just felt so flat.
Yeah. But anyway, I think like weird odd gimmicks like the Undertaker and Goldust, like those worked.
They worked. They knew how to tap into the, like I said, the psychological part of the characters.
Right.
I'm gonna bring up a gimmick that obviously is legendary now, but in the beginning I quite didn't understand why he went this way. But Crow Sting. Crow Sting. Like, first he's we're so used to seeing him as the Surfer Sting with the blonde hair and the cool makeup and the cool tights and the jacket and the man called Sting theme song and just
screaming, very energetic, and then just
awesome, beautiful, bright character, and then suddenly he just transforms into this dark. But then it's like a blatant ripoff of the Crow, like blatant ripoff, and I was like, "What are we doing here?"
Right.
But it's Sting, Steve Borden. He made it. Another one that he made it work, and now when you hear Sting, that's who you picture.
Right.
He did evolve it over the years, He made it a little different, not to look so much like Brandon Lee, but.
Yeah, if we could forget that one year where he had the Sting face paint, but it was like red and black when he was a part of the
red and black.
Like,
I didn't like that.
That was a weird look.
It was very clashy. But it was like, I'm like, what happened? Where did you go? How did this happen? How did you go from this fun-loving, happy, beautiful, fan favorite Sting to this dark, gloomy, doesn't talk, just stands there, comes out from the freaking rafters like a freaking creep?
That's a future retrospective that we could touch on that on. But
it could be like a 5.
Oh god. But I mean, Mantar. I mean,
oh my god,
Arachnaman, Max Moon.
Max Moon, yeah, that was, and then the story behind it too is very weird. How it was originally, what's his face,
Conan,
and then something happened, and he
He never
got
made it
recruited.
officially on TV under the costume, but it was all made for
Right.
him.
It was all made for him, and something got
I
screwed
just
up there.
love looking at this pictures of Oz, Kevin Nash's
Oh
Oz.
my God, Oz! Yeah, see, that was one of the that was gonna be part of my top 5,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, it was so short lived.
Right, because then he went to like Vinny Vegas right after that. So
With Diamond Dallas Page, I love that. Can I just say, I love that. I love the
yeah,
Vinny Vegas and Diamond, and then the Diamond Stud,
yeah,
right?
those are like perfectly normal gimmicks.
Yeah. So Diamond Stud. People for those who don't know who Diamond Stud is, that's Scott Hall. Right before went to WWF and became Razor Ramon, so he kind of already had that look
Yeah.
in WCW with the
I
dark
mean,
hair. With the
also for
curl,
anybody that was a fan of Kiss, that they had the Kiss Demon.
the Kiss Demon, which was like, what the fuck?
Another thing of money spent on for no reason.
Exactly. He
And
looked just like
shockingly,
Gene Simmons.
I will say this: we're about to go into our number ones, but shockingly, the Shockmaster did not make either of our lists.
That's so true. It's so true. That's how you know that some of these gimmicks were just so out there. But the Shockmaster is I think that's a whole episode of this.
You know what it is too? It's just a moment for me because it's like because he only showed up as that fucking black cape with the Star Trooper glitter helmet.
Yeah.
And then he completely changed his look after that. But just like when you think of the Shockmaster, it's just that initial fucking blow up and then him falling through the wall.
I felt so. I mean, I watched it live as a kid.
Oh my God!
I was watching it it was on TBS, WCW Saturday night, and when that happened, my heart broke for him. I didn't know who it was under the mask. Obviously, didn't realize that it was
all Tugboat.
Tugboat. And that's another character, Tugboat.
Right.
What the fuck? Like, so this guy is a sailor? Sailor?
It was kind of like Popeye, but fatter.
And he'd be like, He became Typhoon.
Earthquake.
With Earthquake, right?
Yeah.
The Earthquake, I could kind of see it because he's this big giant guy. It was just when he would like jump and then the camera would shake.
Yeah. But now we're going down to our number ones. I'm gonna give mine because yours is no topping your number one, but my number one.
Yeah.
The Gobbly Gooker. Where now I wasn't alive at this point, but they were teasing Survivor Series 1990. There's a giant egg. Who could be in it? Or what can be in it? And I love watching the old stuff where they're like speculating, like, oh, is it gonna be Miss America or is it like the next Playboy girl in the egg?
Oh my God.
And hearing like Undertaker talk about how like he thought he was gonna be the one fucking popping out of the egg.
Right.
But no, instead it's a grown person who we now know it was Hector Guerrero in a big fucking chicken suit.
Yeah.
Turkey, yeah.
Right.
And the minute he pops out or breaks out of that egg, the fans go silent. They start booing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, I was 9 years old when this was happening. And I remember the build-up. And it's like, what's in it? What's in the egg? What's in this giant egg? Mean Gene over there trying to investigate what was going on with this giant egg. And then the Survivor Series. And I was watching it. And the egg starts cracking. They're like, oh, the egg's cracking more and more throughout the whole pay-per-view. You see the egg starting to crack more and more. And then finally, there they go. And Mean Gene's by the egg, being his investigative journalist that he is. And then finally, it breaks open and out comes this giant turkey. And he's doing the whole... and he's dancing around. And then him and Mean Gene start dancing together.
And that was it.
We never saw it again.
But it's funny watching it back because you can hear Bobby, like he breaks. He's like oh my
Cracking
he's
up.
about to say like, oh my god, like, are you
What
kidding
the
me?
hell? This is it.
Because he knew the minute he popped out and the fans went, huh? What?
Like, right, because they hyped it up to the point where you think it's a brand new wrestler coming in. And then you're right, because The Undertaker debuted that night.
Yeah.
The Undertaker debuted that night. So
And he,
imagine
and he wasn't fully aware of what he was going to do, but he had like panic attacks where he thought, was like, if they put me in that fucking egg.
Can you imagine if The Undertaker would have came out of that egg?
As the Undertaker?
As The Undertaker, like just this giant egg, and out comes this big, gloomy, dark, pale-faced man in a what's supposed to be an Undertaker costume.
The kids are not sleeping tonight.
No. Shoot, he scared the hell out of me. Even though I recognize him from WCW, he still scared the hell out of me. And I loved it. I loved it. But
you mentioned the dancing where like, they were trying to save it so damn badly.
Just trotting around.
The turkey's like, come on, Gene, come on. And Gene's like, all right, let's dance again.
I mean, Gene guy, you got to give him credit. That man, he loved that stuff. He loved being a big jokester.
He is the master of saving shitty things.
Yeah.
Where it's like he knows like, oh, the people hate this, but you know what? I'm gonna try and make somebody laugh or some people get excited.
Even just his facial expressions would save a whole, like those backstage when he would interview people backstage and they would flub their lines.
Put that cigarette out.
Yeah, talking off camera to somebody that's not even there. You know,
the sign falls back.
Such a genius. He was such a genius. So, God.
But I mean, like. And people are watching this like, was there something worse than the gobbledygooker?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. You know what's funny too is like we were going like we revealed our picks to each other, and you go, there's no like promo picture of this, and like nope, because it only showed up once.
You can only find the footage from that pay-per-view where this. Why?
Can you say it like Tony Schiavone did?
It's the Yeti!
No, the Yeti!
Oh, yeah, the Yeti! Oh, Tony, I love you so much. The Yeti! And it's like, when you hear Yeti, you think of the mythological creature, right?
Yeah, a furry monster.
Furry monster that lives in the mountains of the Himalayas, right? Which is what they portrayed him as. It's supposed to be a monster that came from the Himalayas. But why was he wrapped in toilet paper?
I was about to say, like, if you watch like maybe like Rudolph, like the old cartoons, like the way Yeti would look, maybe that's where you'd be like, okay, that's what it looks like.
White.
No, it's a giant person wrapped in toilet paper coming out of an iceberg.
Coming out of an iceberg.
And then going down to the ring and humping Hulk Hogan from behind.
Yeah.
Which was the funniest part of the whole thing. Because it's like giant and this other shaking.
It's like, I wonder, like, oh my God, what were they thinking? And then Lex Luger's in the ring, like, yeah.
But he's playing deep down, like, oh my God, what the hell? And then poor Giant, too. First match, and this is what you're doing?
All right. And then it's like this guy under the Yeti costume, like, I don't even think he could move because he's so wrapped up.
Oh, no, he couldn't move because once he let go, he starts doing this.
That's all he could do.
He starts walking around like a fucking mummy. You're the Yeti.
Why wasn't he just called the Mummy? Again, another one. If he's called this, why does he look like something completely different?
And then it's another one of those things where they knew it flopped so hard that they repackaged him into Super Giant Ninja.
Which was
he was pretty much in a scorpion costume from Mortal Kombat.
Right, like another stupid gimmick.
Then they took the costume off him and then renamed him. They made him the son of Big John Studd.
Right,
which was like Ron Studd. And then he became Reese in the Flock.
Right, which that worked for him, I guess. I mean, the Flock was a pretty cool gimmick. I liked it.
Everybody was in the fucking Flock, but it was just a visual also for them to have Goldberg lift him up and just because he's legit 7 feet, 300 pounds.
Right, big fucking dude, yeah.
Right, but just Tony Schiavone, the famous call, him strutting down to the ring in toilet paper.
That's what I don't get. That's where I like. If he's the Yeti, why is he dressed like a mummy?
You know what it is? It's probably some stupid inside joke they had. Because if they want a Yeti, we'll give him a mummy. Cool joke.
But like nobody gets it.
Right.
Like just call him the fucking mummy.
And this thing too is like he's walking on the ring, and you see the costumes falling apart. Because it's kind of like they wrapped them in toilet paper, and that shit was falling off.
I lost you there.
You're back?
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what the hell happened.
I just said that pretty much like they wrapped them in toilet paper, and the whole thing was just falling off as the whole thing kept going.
Just unraveling itself.
Right. But
oh God, it was just like really, what the hell were they smoking back there?
But you know what? It's weird enough with all these other stuff that all this stuff had a lifespan of like maybe like more than one day. This was 1 hour.
1 hour.
And they said, fuck it.
Like, yeah, this was a fail.
Well, maybe
like,
more than like it was a week because they revealed it on Nitro, and then like they went off the air. We're like, oh, what the hell was that? And then he walks out on the pay-per-view. But
yeah, like I don't like it's amazing sometimes that WCW even lasted past the early 90s, mid 90s, that actually went into the early 2000s. You know what I mean?
If I was Ted Turner, I would have. I want my money back. What the hell are you guys doing with it?
But he loved his wrestling.
I guess
so. You know, I that was just, yeah.
So those are the weird and odd wrestling, weird gimmicks in wrestling. Jesus Christ! But let us know in the comments what you guys think. Please give us your top fives as well in the comments, and also let us agree, disagree. Anybody that should be ranked higher, lower, anybody that we missed that we didn't mention that you guys remember the most in watching wrestling. But Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
what is wrestling? What honest to God is wrestling at this point?
Yeah. It's just one big, goofy, lovable sport.
Yeah.
Story.
But
so, everything. It's everything all wrapped up in one.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Please, again, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
History and Headlocks update for everybody that is tuning in, because our next episode, it's funny enough we talk about WCW because that's what we're going to be talking about next. We're going to talk about the lifespan of WCW, and with his unfortunate timely passing of Ted Turner, we'll talk about how much influence he had in the company and how much. Yeah, we're going to talk about.
I didn't even know he was still alive. And then they announced his death, and I was like, "Oh my God, he's been around forever."
Right, but we're going to talk about his influence in WCW. Talk about the characters that stood out, and we're going to talk about the unfortunate demise of how a once popular company who went number one went from bankruptcy to being completely out of business, and then how WWE tells the tales of their demise, of how we're going to give our overall thoughts on that.
Absolutely.
But before that, we are going to be going to AEW Double or Nothing, and we'll be back here on the WrestleMania channel to give you a preview and a review of the event here in New York City.
Yeah, maybe we could even, do a little something from there.
Yes, definitely go to our socials. Go to NY WrestleMania and History and Headlocks on Instagram, and maybe we'll do some live streams and live footage from the event itself.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
So until then, class is dismissed. Where's my outro? Where's the outro? There it is. So everybody, see you next time.
Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy.